Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Lenovo Flex 5 1470. So this is going to be kind of some steps missing because it's broken, and then I kind of partially already took some of it apart. But anyways, let's go ahead and get on to the repair. So this one had the hinge broken. So basically we had to get a replacement hinge. So this is what the hinge, I think that's upside down, looks like that. Okay, so for some reason your hinge broke as well. This is what the left hinge looks like. Okay, there are other models that use this same type of hinge, so I couldn't find a hinge with the exact model number or model names, so I ended up luckily finding one that was exactly the same, but for a different model. Anyways, first thing you're going to do is remove all the PH1 or JS1 screws from here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, just remove all of those. Then we're going to pop this cover open. So to do that, you go around the edges here. You can see a little gap. I just use my fingernails. You can use plastic pry tools, but just get in there and pop that out. I have to be very careful again because there's only one hinge here helping hold the computer together, and if you kind of rotate the screen you can actually rip out the other hinge, so we're going to be careful here. Alright, just working our way around the laptop. There are some pretty strong magnets holding it in here, so we're going to kind of rotate this and pull it away. So here you can see there's two magnets down here that connect down at the bottom and make it difficult to lift this cover off. So that's what the bottom of the cover looks like. Alright, I already kind of cleaned it a little, even though it's still kind of gross. But alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the battery. Let me actually zoom in here. Okay, so I don't know if somebody opened this before because this looks kind of weird how they have the battery cable. If the battery cable is underneath here instead of on top, then you're probably going to want to unscrew the battery first. Let's see here, I might have to do that anyways. Yeah, okay, let's see. I'm going to try and unscrew the battery first, though I don't know if there's hidden screws underneath here. So let me actually zoom out here, sorry. Alright, let's start with the battery. So let's remove the screw. You want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and length. If you mix them up, you can damage the computer. So the way I do that, I put them flat side down like this. In the pattern, I remove them, and that way I can figure out where I got it from. So do it however you want, but for me, that way works the best, putting them in the pattern that I removed them. Alright, so we got those two screws out. Let's see, I don't see any screws on this side, and it looks like there aren't any screws on this side. So I'm going to slightly lift it and be careful not to damage this cable. And then we're going to maneuver it out sideways this way. Alright, and then once we got that, you can grab as close as you can to the connector and kind of just wiggle this connector as you pull on it. Alright, just like that. And eventually the connector should pop out just like that, and that's how you remove the battery. Alright, I'm going to clean the dust off to the side real quick from the bottom of this battery. Alright. So I don't know why they could have put way more battery in here, but they decided to just put this hollow plastic here. I think that's kind of a messed up design. I guess they wanted to make it look full, but it's not really full. Alright, so you got all these connectors here, but after removing the battery, it's always a good idea to open up the computer. Alright, I'm going to have to be careful again because there's nothing holding the other side of the screen. And once you open it, you're going to press and hold the power button for about 15 seconds to drain any residual power. This will make it a lot safer to work on and less likely you'll damage the computer. This is very important if you are taking out the LCD or LVDS connector. At this point, if this video is helping you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to upgrade and repair their devices. If it helps you save some money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. This allows me to continue making these videos for a living. These are actually customer computers, so I don't own them. Usually by the time you see them, I'm not going to have them anymore. Anyways, we're going to completely disassemble this thing. So this computer has a regular SATA slot as well as a M.2 PCIe NVMe slot. So if you wanted to add a SATA drive, I don't know if there was a screw here. Again, I don't know if somebody opened this before, But anyways, let's go ahead and remove the 2 remaining screws for the hard drive caddy here. So this is a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive caddy. So we're going to remove that. All right, once you remove that, usually what you do is you slide the hard drive down this way. So I would pull this down like that, and then you'll see there's the connector here that will clear, and then you can go ahead and pull this out. So in this case, there's just a metal bracket here. There's no actual hard drive on it. All right, if you have this metal bracket, make sure that these screws are tight. I've had some customers where these screws actually came loose and then rolled around in the computer and shorted it out. So just to be safe, I'm actually going to add some blue thread locker. All right, because if I don't, there's a good chance that those screws can come out. One of the screws was actually very loose, and if you just leave it, it can damage your computer. So I'm going to take the screw out. We're going to add some blue thread locker and then put it back. All right, give me a second, my alarm's going off. Okay, there we go. Sorry for the shaking camera. All right, anyways, we're going to put the blue thread locker here. All right, and I'm going to put this on all 4 screws just to make sure that these screws don't come loose in the future. So it's nice that they include the screws and everything. The metal bracket, if you put a hard drive in there, is no longer useful, so you can toss that. I don't know why they do that method. Other people, they'll put like the screws inside like plastic cuts in this kind of thing, so that way it just holds itself in place and it doesn't really come loose. I don't know why these screws, because it's just metal on metal, they come loose, so you want to actually put some thread locker. They don't actually put anything on these, so yeah. All right, so we're gonna get the last screw out here. All right, so this repair is going to be a little tricky because I wasn't expecting the hinge to be underneath the motherboard, so I guess I'm going to be taking the entire computer apart. Excuse me. All right, anyways, we got that out, so we're going to set that aside. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're going to take out the M.2 NVMe or PCIe NVMe SSD. So there's 1 screw there. Take that out. It pops up at an angle like that. Then you can go ahead and pull that out. Right? I like to flip it upside down like this and rest it on top, rest it on my desk that way. Right? So set that aside. All right. And of course, if you put it back at that angle and then put the screw back in. Actually, I'm going to leave this in. If you need, you can see, excuse me, you can see the motherboard model number here. So this motherboard is used for a lot of different models, but here you can see LA-E541P. So if you're looking for a motherboard, you can search that model and just make sure you get the right processor and everything. All right, so I'm going to put this back in again at an angle, and then we're going to put the screw back in. Again, it looks like somebody worked on this because this warranty sticker was on here and it was already peeled off. Okay. All right, and underneath here you got the RAM. So I just get my fingernail underneath this metal cover and then I pop it up just like this. I don't know if screws are missing because this motherboard seems already kind of loose, even though I didn't really take out many screws. So keep that in mind. Right, so now that we got that cover off, we're going to pull these 2 tabs to the side. The RAM pops up and then we can pull it out. And the RAM is an 8 gig PC4 2400T. So if you want, you can upgrade it. You can put a 16 gig PC4 2400T stick of RAM. I don't see another stick of RAM. So depending on the computer, if this only has 8 gigs, I don't know, I didn't check, then this is the only slot. If there's additional RAM, then very likely they soldered some RAM to the motherboard. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and disconnect all these connectors. We got the speaker connector here. To remove that, I just use the wings of the connector and I just use my fingernails and kind of just keep wiggling it like this. Right, and eventually that connector will pop out. There you go, just like that. And it is threaded around under here, so again, it looks like somebody took it out because normally I think it would Oops, sorry. Normally it looks like it would be threaded along here under these little pieces. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and disconnect the keyboard connector here. Flip this latch up just like this. All right, once you flip that latch up, you can go ahead and pull this out. You got the keyboard backlight connector here. We're gonna flip that latch up and pull that connector out as well. All right, you got the trackpad connector here. Flip that latch up, pull that out. All right, then you got the fingerprint sensor here. Flip that latch and pull that out. Okay. All right, what else do we got? So we got this connector here that goes to the I/O board. The I/O board has the power button. So here you go, the power button. There's the one key recovery hole here that you can press with a needle or a pin. Then you got the SD card slot and the USB port here. So you also have the CMOS battery or the RTC or BIOS battery button cell battery here, and that comes out same thing with the wings. You just wiggle and pull it. All right, we're gonna now disconnect this cable. I'm not gonna take out this side because I don't need to. At least I don't think so. Maybe I do, just to make it easier to put in the hinge. So I'm gonna actually take the whole thing out, I guess. Alright, so if you're going to mess with this cable connector, make sure that you remove the battery and press and hold the power button for 15 seconds with the screen open, at least 15 seconds or longer. Alright, otherwise you'll damage either the screen, the cable, the backlight circuit, or a combination of them. Alright, so anyways, we're going to now pull this connector up. Sometimes it's hard to pull up. If it is, I get underneath and pry it up, but this one came out okay. So we're going to get this cable out, and let's go ahead and let's actually take this cable out completely, flip that latch up, and then we're going to pull this out. All right, as you can see, there's the I/O side, and then there's the MB for motherboard. All right, so we'll set that aside. All right, give me a second, I'll be back. I need to do something real quick, and I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, I'm back, sorry about that. Okay, so we got all of that disconnected. Remove that cable. So this CMOS battery normally is held down with some double stick tape, I believe, but it's already kind of coming out. Anyways, I'm gonna unthread this cable. Again, if you see any screws on your computer that I didn't remove, again, somebody worked on this before, so I don't know. It looks like there should be a screw here, but there isn't one. I just unrouted this cable from here so that I can get it out of the way. All right, because we are going to take the entire screen assembly out. Anyways, let's go ahead and work our way over here. So we got the DC jack or charge port connector. We're gonna grab the connector, and again, just like all the other ones, just wiggle that and eventually it should pop out. So just keep wiggling that, keep wiggling. Come on. Should eventually pop out. There we go. Okay, just like that. Let's see, what else do we got? Again, I don't really see any motherboard screws here, so I don't know if anything is holding it down. I see one screw here holding the fan, so let's go ahead and remove that screw. It looks like they used a PH0 or JAS0 screw. So let's go ahead and remove that. Again, somebody must have opened this, so if your screws are different, don't just copy the video. You kind of got to think a little and use whatever works. All right, so there we go. We're going to set that screw aside. Okay, it's going to be a little tricky because we got random screws that aren't really in any particular order. So anyways, now that we got those screws, there's most likely another one here. It looks like we can get this fan out. I don't know if this originally was taped underneath the heatsink here, but in this case it wasn't. If it is taped underneath, then you'll likely have to lift the whole motherboard out with the fan. But anyways, we're going to disconnect this cable here for the fan. Just grab the connector if you can. If you can't, you can use the wires, but just same thing, kind of wiggle and pull. All right, and eventually it pops up just like that. So this connector, I don't know if you can see, so this side faces that way, and then the side with no holes in it faces over this way. Okay, So the side that has the pins kind of showing go out towards the RAM side. All right, so don't mix that up or you can damage your computer. All right, there we go. Again, I don't know if there were supposed to be other screws here. It looks like the motherboard's already loose. I would say there should be a screw here. There's a little arrow there, and probably a screw here. But again, I didn't see any screws there, or maybe I removed them with the hard drive and I just don't remember. But yeah. Okay, so anyways, let's see here. What else do we got to remove? We got to remove the wireless antennas here. I'm not going to take the wireless card out. It's pretty straightforward. Just one screw pops up just like the SSD here. Anyways, to remove the antennas, you just grab the tails and then you kind of just wiggle and pull it straight up just like that. Same thing with the white antenna. Grab the tail as close to the connector as you can and wiggle and pull up. All right, there we go. So I'm going to leave that there. And let's go ahead and unroute these antenna cables from under here. All right, and remove them. Again, normally there would be the hinge here, so these cables would actually be caught in the hinge like this, but because the hinge is broken, it's out like that. All right, so let's go ahead now and remove the motherboard. Let me actually zoom out a little bit. There we go. So hopefully now you can see the entire thing. So we're gonna lift up the motherboard from here. Again, you wanna double check if there's any extra screws because in this case, somebody already worked on this and took screws out. All right, so we're gonna lift this up at an angle like that, and then we can go ahead and slide this out. Again, be careful with the charge port there. And the bottom of the motherboard just has all this foil under it. So we're gonna set this aside. And you want to be careful with this. You don't want to get it damaged or anything. I'm going to put it like this with the heatsink. Oh, you can't even see. Excuse me. All right. So now that we got that, we were trying to get to the hinge over here. This design is kind of annoying because they put the charge port underneath the hinge and the hinge is underneath the motherboard. So, yeah. All right. So anyways, this thing is broken. So I could technically just remove the screws and then pop this out, but to make it more realistic, I'm going to show you what you got to do. All right, so you got to, there's so much junk all over my desk. Anyways, what you want to do is you want to open the screen. I have to be very careful because one hinge is broken, but you want to open this about 90 degrees. Okay, and again, I have to be very careful with this. And then what you do is you turn this around and you rest the screen on your desk. Oh shoot, I might end up breaking the screen. So I'm gonna have to be careful here. All right, so what you do is you rest the keyboard on the edge of the desk, and then we're gonna remove these screws here. All right. So there's 2 screws on both sides, I believe. All right, so we're gonna remove that screw and remove this screw. In this case, you can actually open the screen like 180 degrees so the computer is flat, and then it'll be actually easier because you can rest the entire thing on your desk. But anyways, now we're gonna lift this out, and there we go. We got the screen assembly out just like this. I'm gonna show you this part later, but basically there's a plastic cover here. I think they lost the little plastic covers here, so I can't really do anything about that. But yeah. Okay, so now we got this. Here you can see the DC jack. Let me actually take this side out as well. Okay, normally you would take this side out as well, but again, because the hinge is broken, I didn't have to take that out and it's already broken off. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove this. So same thing, when you lift the screen out, this will come out with it. This is basically the broken hinge. So I'm gonna set that aside, and here you can see now the DC jack is just like this, and it looks like it's actually broken. So the DC jack here, the plastic is broken. That's kind of weird. I don't know how it broke like that. But anyways, hopefully it still works okay. It looks like it got pushed out. They dented all this metal piece and everything, so this computer is in pretty bad shape. But Yeah. All right. All these speaker cables for some reason aren't routed properly. So whoever worked on this before, shame on them. They did a very poor job. Okay. I mean, I guess at least they tried, but not very good job. All right, let me zoom in here and fix this for you guys. All right, hopefully you can actually see. All right, so I don't know how it was before, but from how it looks, I'm assuming it's supposed to go underneath these cable routing guides, and I think this is actually supposed to go under this cable as well. So I'm gonna put the speaker cable underneath here. Okay, and then it routes all the way over here, goes under there, then it gets routed over here. Okay, under there, and I don't know where it goes now because I don't see any more routing cable plastic bits. Then we're gonna do this side as well. Okay, I'm just gonna route this. It goes around this screw mount here and then goes back in between this little groove, goes under there, and again, now I don't know, I think it goes between these two little raised areas here and goes over here and under that. Yep, that looks right. There we go. And this one, I don't know, that's really weird. It looks like it would go down here, but at the same time it doesn't. So maybe this goes with the battery or something. Yeah, okay. That, I think it routes into the battery. Yeah, okay. I think this actually just the rest of this red and black wire goes into here. We'll figure it out when I get to that point. All right. So anyways, let's set this aside. Sorry, got distracted with that. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the screen. So let me show you how this normally would be since I took it out already. Again, I don't know where the side ones are. I guess they just already popped out. I don't know where they are. And I'm pretty sure the customer didn't give them to me. So yeah. All right, so we got this piece here, which, let's see, which way does it line up? I don't remember which way goes where. So I'm gonna rotate this way. Okay, so it goes out that. And then, if I, okay, I think it goes this way. So we're gonna snap this back into place, and then I'm gonna show you how I would remove this. So, okay, get this back in. So let's pretend that it's all, here you go, all snapped back in the way it should be. There we go. All right, so basically it will come like this, and you'll also have both hinges, of course, and then you'll have plastic pieces here. So the plastic pieces here, of course, you'll want to pop out. If I remember correctly, you get in here with a plastic pry tool and pop it out. And then same thing for this one. Let me see if I can zoom in. I have the motherboard in the way, so I don't know if I can. But yeah. Okay, so basically what I did was I got my fingernail in here. Let's see if I can still do it. I might have to use my other tool to do this. Okay, so get your fingernail in, or a plastic pry tool, of course, and then you just pop it up just like that. So I just run my fingernail along there. I'm using my thumb to push this down, so basically I'm rotating this piece like that. All right, running along the edge. If it doesn't come out from the top edge, then you can kind of work the bottom, but usually it all comes out from the top edge. But here you see it's getting stuck, so we're gonna also go from the bottom, kind of wiggling this piece around. All right, you don't want to just yank too hard because you don't want to break it, but there we go. And we're gonna keep going along and pop that, and there we go. And that's what it looks like underneath. So I don't know if you can see this, there's kind of a little slight bend, and it's a little bit shorter here, so that side goes face up, and then this goes down towards the bottom of the screen. All right, so there you go. And the other way you can tell here is these shorter, smaller clips are at the top, and then these other clips with these longer bars are at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to set that aside now. All right, next thing we're going to do, so they actually hide some adhesive pull tabs here. So I'll show you when I open this what it looks like. Basically, actually, let me get some tabs here so I'll show you. Basically, what it is underneath is you have these kinds of pull or stretch adhesives, okay? So as you can see, the adhesive looks like this. So it'll go, if I remember correctly, I think it ends up over here on this side, but I could be wrong. It might show up here. I don't remember exactly. I think it actually shows up here because this side, the hinge will be on top. So this kind of adhesive, it sticks really strong, but as you kind of stretch this, I don't know if you can see, but as you stretch this, it slowly releases just like that, and it lets go. So basically you have to pull it straight back, parallel with this piece here. All right, so you're gonna have to grab the adhesive and then just pull it straight out. But anyways, I'll open it up and show you. The adhesive's already gone. Once you get the adhesive out, you actually don't really need the adhesive. So unless you really want to put it, you don't. You can, but you don't need to. As you can see, the screws are enough. This thing isn't gonna fall out. Okay, so let's go ahead and take out the 2 screws down here now that we've gotten that settled. And also the design, these hinges are kind of wobbly, so I don't know, but that's how it's designed. So all right, so we'll take out the 2 screws here. So there's 1 screw there and 1 screw here. These are pretty much all these screws are PH1 JIS or JIS1, except for the one for the fan for some reason. All right, once you get those 2 screws out, again, you do have to pull those adhesive strips out first. Once you do that, as you can see, we can kind of lift this up slightly, and the cable comes out from that little hinge there. There's a little pocket, and then after you lift it, you can pull the screen slightly down this way, and then you can lift it out. All right, so this is what the back of the screen looks like. You will want to check yours because it might be different. Here's the screen model of this specific one, M140NWF5. Right, so that's the screen model number. And then if you need, this is the LCD LVDS cable model number. All right, it's a very long thing. You can pause it and read that if you want, and then try and search for it online. But yeah, this little board is for the digitizer. These have the little flip latches to slide those cables in and out. I'm not sure what this little thing is. I don't know if that's a sensor or what. I don't see anything that looks outside, so I don't know what that is. There's a magnet down here. Looks like it's somewhat messed up, but okay, this is the LCD LVDS connector. You got the wireless antennas going up here, and then you got the, oh, why is this antenna like folded backwards? That's weird. All right, so we're gonna bend this metal tab back. This is just for the wireless antennas. Okay. All right, there's 2 wireless antennas. Then you got the webcam cable going all the way around over here and following this screen all the way down and then connecting to this. So the camera and everything all goes through this one cable. All right, and this is the touch controller, and again, I don't know what that's for. So anyways, we got the screen out, so we'll set that aside and make sure to set it down somewhere safe. This hinge cover is all scratched up here, so let me see. I might actually swap it out with the other one. So let's see if the other broken one, if it looks nicer or if it's about the same. So this is the other one. Oh, okay, so this one is also scratched up, as you can see. So I'm just gonna leave that one on there, and we're not gonna use that. Okay. If you want to see, actually, I'll show you how to remove it. So there's a PH0 or JIS0 screw there. So let me actually switch to the other screwdriver. It's very easy to remove. There's just 1 screw here. All right, so you just remove that screw. And once you remove that screw, you can slide this piece off, and here you can see the actual hinge mechanism inside. This one is broken really bad. It doesn't even turn anymore. So anyways, we're going to put that little cover back on and put the screw back in. Oops, sorry. Just get that screw back in. Very easy. All right, so as you can see, it broke here at these little rivets, and these rivets are basically, I don't know, impossible. I don't know, maybe somebody could just weld this whole piece together. I don't have experience with welding, and I don't know if you need special metals to weld or something. But yeah, so that hinge is toast, so we'll set that aside. Okay, so here's what I mean. As you can see, this black strip going down like that. So what I was showing you earlier with these, okay, so basically you would have the adhesive going along like this, and then it would come out like that down here. So basically you would grab this and you stretch it, you just pull it straight back, and it will eventually all pull out all this adhesive. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Again, if you want, you can try and put the old adhesive back, but usually it doesn't survive. It gets stuck to itself and then you can't reuse it. There was some adhesive residue here. If I remember correctly, they put some regular tape there. Okay, so anyways, now we got the replacement hinge. So the way you do that, it slides underneath. There's a piece of plastic here. I know it's hard to see because of the brightness contrast, but anyways, this slides under there. All right, once you get that under there, you can see that this fits there. All right, so you see it goes like that, and then you drop that in. Then there were 3 screws here, so these are already there. I'm going to get the other 3 screws and we're going to put those in. Okay, I'm going to use some red thread locker because the blue one, I feel sometimes it doesn't hold well enough, and then it comes loose and then the hinges break. But anyways, this one it's already loose. Like, there's no way to tighten it to where the thing can't move at all. But yeah, so we're just gonna get these in. Okay, so we're gonna get this screw in. As you can see, I'm gonna tighten this as much as I can, and oh, actually this one holds tighter, so maybe I'll recheck these screws here. Okay, because that's kind of weird. All right, so let's get this in, and let's get some more red thread locker on here. You don't use much thread locker. You don't want it to overflow into the plastic. It can make the plastic brittle. So you want to make sure that when you put this stuff, that it is just going into the screws and the screw mounts. All right, so we're going to get a little more. Okay. All right, and then we'll tighten this screw in. All right. So let's see here. Okay, so I don't know why. This one's super tight in there. This one's like really wobbly. You can even hear it. So let's take this out. Okay. I don't know why it's so wobbly, but I'm going to take this out, and then I'm going to add some red thread locker and see if that does anything. Alright, so we got that. Alright, here you can see it's just loose like that. Alright, let's add some red thread locker. Alright, let's go ahead and tighten that in. Oh, okay, it holds better. I think maybe I just didn't tighten it enough last time. Alright, let's add a little to this one. Okay, and the last screw here. Alright, set the thread locker aside for now. Let's go ahead and tighten that in. Alright, go, and it still wobbles a little, so I don't know. This one is just a better fit. Alright, so anyways, now we're gonna rotate this. So here you can see these hinges should rotate evenly as they close. Okay, I'm gonna open this back up. You wanna be careful. Make sure to apply the force straight over this hinge area here if you do that. Okay, so I'm gonna open this to be about 90 degrees or so, maybe a little more. Okay. Alright, now let's go ahead and grab the screen and put that back in and get these cables to go back through there. Alright, so again, we're going to put this at an angle and we're going to slide this into place. So there's these little catches or latches that hook up there and they hold the screen in place. Okay, so again, we're going to slide that up into place and slowly drop that down. Alright. Make sure it's all completely in and latched. Looks good. Alright, let's go ahead now and put those two little screws back in. Alright, just like that. And just like that. And then just to test it, I'm going to get a suction cup here. I'm going to hold the top down. And here you can see if I pull on it, it holds itself. There's no way that's coming out. So I don't know why they add that adhesive. I don't think it helps with anything. It just makes it harder to repair. So anyways, we're going to get this cable and we're going to thread it through that little hole there. Okay. We're going to do the same thing with the wireless antennas. All right. I'm going to have it thread through there. Okay. These cables kind of got shredded up a bit from when the hinge broke. So yeah, normally it doesn't look all destroyed like that. So we're gonna route this cable over here. Let's move this stuff back a little so I can show this a bit better. Okay, and then now we're going to put the little cover back on. All right, again, make sure all these cables are flat. And then we're gonna get this back in. Okay. Get everything lined up. That and push it down into place. Here we go. There we go. All right, now we got everything in. Again, make sure this cable goes over there. All right, make sure all these clips go down properly. It should feel smooth across the bar. Alright, so next thing we got, we're going to go ahead and put this back on. So the somewhat nice thing with this model is the hinges, they kind of fold a lot easier. So let's see here. So we're going to get this, make sure the DC jack cable ends up on top. Alright, so we got this, we're going to lift it up. And then you can hang this off the edge of the desk again. Okay, let's go ahead and zoom out. Again, if you want, you can open the hinges all the way to 180 degrees so that you don't have to have it over the edge of your desk. All right, and then, but I like to do it this way. This is how I do it with most of the other computers. Okay, so I'm gonna switch back to the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. I probably should have used that for the two middle screws earlier. Anyways, let's go ahead now and put back the hinge screws here. So I'm going to use the red thread locker again. Again, you only need a very small amount. Okay, so I don't know if you can see. So there's not really much on there. Why isn't it focusing? Come on. But anyways, so we're going to get the screw back in. Again, so here they actually show an X on that, so you don't want to put a screw on that one. All right. Let's go ahead and get these screws. Again, we're just adding a tiny bit of the red thread locker there to make sure these screws hold in tight and don't come loose. If they come loose, they can actually rip the plastic part out of there. So that's why I like to make sure they're tight with the red thread locker. Okay. There we go, tighten that in. And the last hinge screw here. Sorry, I know it's not a great viewing angle, but there we go. All right, now that we got all those hinge screws in, we can actually close the screen a little bit. So just slowly, carefully close the screen. Okay. All right, let's flip this over. Now we're gonna have to thread these cables back through. All right, so this actually, why is it outside? So the cable, you want it to end up inside, not outside like that. So hopefully it's not getting damaged here. Okay, make sure the cable goes between those little brackets there. All right, hopefully the cable's okay. All right, and the wireless antenna wires, we're also going to kind of route them through here. Okay. All right, so those ones kind of go by themselves on their own. So let's go ahead and close this. I'm pinching or pushing down on the hinges themselves. So there we go. So now we got the whole thing closed and ready to go. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put back the motherboard and the fan and all that. So here again, this piece I believe is supposed to be underneath. So let's actually put the fan first. I don't know why this is all creased and folded weird. So whoever did this kind of messed it up. Anyways, we're going to put the fan here first. So as you can see, it lines up there. And I can actually go ahead and put back that PH0 or JIS0 screw. I don't know where my screwdriver tip went. Did it stick to the magnet somewhere? Okay, found it. All right, so we got that. So let's go ahead now and put this screw back in. Again, if yours had a different screw, put that different screw there. This is what was left in there, so I'm just putting it back. All right. All right, there we go. So that holds that fan in place. And then we had this cable that was going around this way. Okay, underneath there. Okay, following this path, going through this gap here in the fan. There we go. And then I think it goes underneath that way because normally there would be a screw there. And yeah, we'll wait till we get the rest of the board back in. Okay, so now we got that. Let's go ahead and take the motherboard and put this back in. It's kind of dusty. Let me clean it off a little. Okay, so we're going to put this at an angle like this with the headphone jack in first. Okay, you want to make sure, and then hold the DC jack or charge port connector out of the way. Okay, again, we're putting it in at an angle. The headphone jack needs to go in first because it protrudes out, right? Then make sure all these other cables end up on top of the motherboard. Okay, keyboard cables, keyboard backlight cables, fingerprint sensor, the, what do you call? Oh, shoot. So the motherboard does have to go underneath that. Okay, so I don't know how you would get that plastic. I guess that's why it was damaged. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and get this out. So it makes sense now why this plastic was all creased. So I guess the people that tried to get it in, they couldn't get it underneath properly. So I'll show you how to do it. So we will leave the fan there for now. We'll put this at an angle. All right, same thing, headphone jack in first. Make sure the DC jack is on top. Okay, just like this. Get all these other cables on top as well. All right. Slowly lower it down. All right, so now that we got this, we're gonna lift the fan up. Rotate this. All right. I don't know if you were able to see that. And then we're gonna slowly lower it down. Again, make sure all these cables end up back on top. They are going back underneath. Stop going underneath there. All right. Lower that down, and there we go. All right, so that's how you're supposed to do it so that the plastic piece stays underneath and stays lined up. So get all of that lined up. Get this screw back in. Again, I don't know how it was before, so if you had extra screws, make sure to put back all those extra screws where they were. All right, so there we go. We got that. Let's go ahead and plug this in. So I'm gonna route this underneath the fan connector. I don't know if that's how it was before or how it's supposed to be, but that's how I'm gonna do it. All right, and then we're gonna line this up. Oh, there's some dirt and crumbs there, so I'm gonna brush that off. Use the air blower to get it out. Okay, and let's go ahead and get this connector back in place and click it back down. There we go. All right, now we got this cable. Again, I just put it underneath because it seemed like it fit better like that. Then we're gonna get this cable in. Let's actually get this cable underneath as well. So maybe this one's supposed to end up on top. Well, yeah, okay. Okay, this cable needs to go on top. So hold it down. Let's pull this cable back out. All right, let's put this cable in first. All right, just like this. Wait, no, this cable is supposed to go underneath. Okay, never mind. All right, is it underneath, on top? I don't know. It's weird. Okay. I don't remember how it was before, but because this goes on top of the fan, this has to go underneath. There we go, just like that. All right, so let's go ahead and plug that back in. I was doing it right the first time. There we go. All right, that cable's there. Let's get the I/O cable as well. Flip that latch up, line it up, and get that in place. There we go. All right, or is this supposed to go under the fan? Maybe this is supposed to go under the fan. Okay, I don't know because I didn't see the original way it was built, but it looks like this should go underneath the fan, and whoever did this before did it wrong, or whoever put it back wrong, maybe because they couldn't get it back right. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna take the fan out and we're gonna put that under the fan because that's what looks like how it should be. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can get it under the fan. I guess that's harder to do, so that's probably why it wasn't done. I don't know. Okay, you guys will have to tell me again because I don't know how this was originally built. I'm just going based off what it looks like how it should have been from the factory. So from what I'm seeing here, it looks like it should have gone like this, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay. I mean, it does make doing this more difficult, so yeah, if you want, you don't have to do it this way. I'm just doing it that way because it looks like that's how it originally was designed. Let's get this back under the fan. Come on. So I gotta grab the blue tab here, and that's what you'll use to pull this cable into place. There we go, get it lined up, and then flip that latch down. Yeah, it looks like this cable's supposed to be under the fan, so I don't know. Let me know if I'm doing it, if I did it wrong, but that's what it looks like to me. So let's go ahead now and get the I/O part of the cable in. Hold that in place, flip that latch down. Here we go. All right, let's get this screw back in. We're getting there, guys. All right. Switch back to the PH1 or JS1. So it looks like this cable is supposed to be here. It looks like there used to be plastic pieces here that hold this cable, but they look broken. Anyways, let's get this fan connector back in, line it up, and push that in. All right. Okay. I feel like there should be some screws here too, but I don't know. All right, let's get all these other cables in. So fingerprint sensor. Okay, should I zoom in here a bit? Alright, sorry about that. Fingerprint sensor going in, make sure the latch is up. Alright, flip that latch down. Trackpad connector or touchpad connector. Get the other ones out of the way. Alright, get that in, flip that latch down. Alright, keyboard backlight, make sure the latch is up. There's some dirt in there, so let me clean that. Alright. Here we go, get that in, flip that latch down, make sure this latch is up. Get this cable in. Alright, keyboard connector is in, flip that latch down. Is it in all the way? Looks like it, but it feels like it's uneven. Alright, well, it is what it is. Alright, let's plug the speaker connector in, pinch the two pieces together. Alright, let's get this hard drive metal bracket thing in, even though it's not really holding anything. You don't even need to have this in the computer. We're going to start it down here. Oop, we accidentally undid some of this speaker wiring. So let's make sure it goes back under properly. Stay under there, please. There we go. Keeps popping back out. There we go. Maybe that's why they didn't use the routing. Alright, so again, we're going to slide starting this lower here. Okay. We're going to get this into place between those plastic pieces. And then we're going to slide it up. There we go. Oh, how'd this get bent like that? There we go. Oh, this metal bends really easily apparently. Okay, so we're going to get this screw down here first. Alright, and then this screw here next. Again, it looks like a lot of the motherboard screws are actually missing in here. Alright, let's go ahead now and plug in the DC jack or charge port connector. Get that lined up. Pinch that together, just like that. Got the wireless card. Let's go ahead and put back the wireless antennas. So these wires, they go underneath this piece here. Okay, so let me get the white cable under first. Just like that. And then the black cable underneath as well. Come on. Stay in there. Stay in there. There we go. Alright. Hold up the foam. Get the black antenna wire. You want to get it, make sure it's completely lined up before you push it down. The way you know is if you get it in place and you try and move it, it stays. Then we can click it. There we go. Same thing with the white wire. Alright, it's in. Click it down. Put that foam back on top. Alright, this wire keeps popping out. Stay under there. Okay, just like that. Let's see, what else? We just got the battery left, I believe. Okay, so let's go ahead now and get the battery back in. Hopefully you guys were able to see all the stuff I was doing. It's hard to pay attention to what I'm recording while doing this at the same time. So now we got the battery, line it all up. Okay, and we got the speaker cable here, so we're going to take that out and guide that through there, guide that under there. Right, looks like that goes that way. This goes under, and just like that. Alright, so now we got the battery wires all lined up. Hopefully everything else is okay. Okay, it looks like the blue wire is also supposed to end up going over this battery. And this also slides into this notch here. So slide that in. Okay. And then we're going to route the battery or the speaker cable over this into this. That's why there's so much extra slack, it looks like. And then in between this and down through there and under there. Alright. Oh, now it's being somewhat difficult. Let me actually use some tweezers to make this easier. it under there. Oops. Over there. Over this way. Through there. Under that. I don't know if it's supposed to go that way. I think it's supposed to go back over this way. Yep. And under this. There we go. Alright, that looks like how it should be. Alright, and then don't forget to plug the battery in. So most likely, most of this excess cable is supposed to go under there. But I don't know how you would do that and plug this in at the same time. So we'll get that, pinch the connector in. There we go. If you want, I guess you can tuck this underneath if it's supposed to go underneath. But I don't know, that seems tricky. How do you do that? Excess wire under there? Yeah, we'll just leave it on top. I don't want to mess it up. Alright, so let's get the last two screws here. And then we'll put the bottom cover on and we're good to go. Alright. Get that screw in. Get this screw in. I think this was from their laptop. I'm not sure. I guess I'll have to find out. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and put the bottom cover back on. Alright, so bottom cover, just grab that, line up the bottom, it sticks with the magnets, and then click everything into place. There we go, and just put back in all the PH1 or JS1 screws, and then that's all there is to it. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others, so that they can also learn how to upgrade and repair their laptops or other electronic devices. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Thank you for watching. You're welcome to stay as I put back all the screws, but that's pretty much it. Alright. And I'll see you all in the next one. Let's get all these last screws in. Of course, we'll actually power it on as well if I have the charger. I don't think they gave me the charger for this, so I don't know if I have this one. We'll see if I power it up, if it will power up without it. Alright. Alright, there we go. Let's flip it over and see if it powers up without the charger. I don't know if their battery's dead or not. There you go. You can see the hinge works well. Okay, it is powering on. I see the keyboard backlight. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, they are missing a key. There we go. So we should be good to go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Alright, let's drop this. Bye.